For this trip, we're heading onto the C&O Canal, starting at historic White's Ferry and putting in 20 miles up to Brunswick, Maryland. And even though the C&O is not part of Virginia, its proximity to Leesburg makes it yet another great resource for folks living in Loudoun County. We're actually starting from Raspberry Falls. Crossing Route 15 can be dangerous, so wait for the light and be sure to wave to the other bikers coming from the other direction. This is actually a very popular bike route, and this section of Route 15 is actually being widened to include a bike path that will go all the way into the town of Leesburg. On our trip, we weren't the only bikers crossing the ferry. Bikers are last on, last off, so let the cars go first. And bring some cash. It's $2 each trip. White's Ferry itself has a little shop if you need to stock up on food and drink before your trip. I should also mention if you aren't comfortable crossing the ferry on your bike, you can always drive across as there's ample parking on the other side to start your journey. Once on the trail, you're in for a treat of beautiful fall foliage right now. You'll also be treated to constant views of the Potomac River for most of the journey. If it wasn't for the fact that we're about to do 40 miles on our bikes, this would be relaxing. Your first real stop is at the historic Monocacy Aqueduct, just 6.5 miles up the trail. At almost 200 years old, it's an impressive structure. This is also a popular starting point if you're in Maryland. And yes, they do have restrooms here if you need them. On the bike, you can't really get a good look at the structure on the views, so I definitely recommend you stop and look over the edges for a minute before continuing on. 8 more miles and you've made it to the Point of Rocks. A lot of people will actually begin their journey here instead of White's Ferry. There's lots of parking and restrooms, and it's only about 14 miles round trip to Brunswick from here if you're not quite ready to do the 40-miler we're doing today. As you head out, there's still plenty to see along the way, but the end is near. And once you make it to Brunswick, you will have a plethora of shops and restaurants to choose from. The town itself is fun to explore, and there's lots of cool buildings and artwork to take in. There's even a church converted into a coffee shop called Beans in the Belfry. How cool. But we had our minds set on Boxcar Burgers and ice cream. There was actually about a half a dozen people in line when we arrived. Now, I actually opted for the sriracha cauliflower sandwich, but my husband Dave didn't hold back and went for the original Boxcar Burger, a 1/3 pound of locally sourced beef with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, and pickled beets. Well, Dave does love beets. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and we had to head back before running out of daylight. We made it back to White's Ferry with perfect timing and got treated to an amazing view of the sunset while we crossed the Potomac to Loudoun County. We definitely biked our calories off today. Next time, we'll have to try to make it to Harper's Ferry. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this adventure. Easy access to the C&O Canal is yet another reason why living in Loudoun County is awesome. Please join me for my next adventure, and thanks for watching.